I want Apocalypse 4.0 so bad. Burn it all because of this Chris Tyson thing.
Like, Jimmy, legitimately, before this, he was a legitimate political candidate in 5 to 10 years. He was setting the groundwork to do something crazy within the next 5 to 10 years. And you just watched it all fucking burn. All of it. All of it just burnt down to the fucking ground. Welcome back. I believe it's RMTS at 152. Obviously, as always, check out the merch, subscribe to both of us. My gaming channel, your gaming channel. Use all the sponsor links. Use the merch links.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, they're actually, liking shit.
What?
Yeah,
All right.
It's been a weird little bit. Before we get into the crazy, sad shit and the disgusting shit going on, we were clearing fucking 60,000 views in a day for 2 days, 3 days. Fuck yeah, guys. Thanks.
YouTube virality
awesome.
be like that.
I don't know where you guys came from, but thanks for coming and hanging out. It's been fun. But yeah, I thought that was cool. So how's everything going, bud? Obviously, we got some crazy shit going on.
Nothing really changes. Like for Pokemon, it's like next month is a big deal because that's Pokemon Worlds. Cheaters are probably going to get caught. Then we get the trailer for Pokemon Legends EA. So I'm burned out on Elden Ring. There's nothing to do. I just just support us if you like what we do and you like real men talking shit. Hey, I did the thing. I'm tired as well. Like, as always, I'm tired from working and Pokemon bullshit, but at least things are cool.
I don't know why. And I don't know if it's just like my enjoyment of the series, but I'm actually excited to see what they do for ZA. I don't think I'm as burnt as you are with like everything just being bad.
It's bad.
But I'm not saying it's going to be great, but excited to see what they're doing. Like, I remember when X and Y originally was announced, the excitement when every time they leaked a mega or saw a mega happen.
Sun and Moon was even better.
Yeah, with the Alolan forums and everything else. I
think there's a trailer every 2 weeks. Like, you knew you're waking up, Koro's going to leak, Japan's got some news. Everyone was always hyped for Pokemon, and now we haven't had anything since February. So it just sounds like Stockholm Syndrome. You're like, I'll take any crumb of bullshit.
I think I ride on that, like, nostalgia of, like, it's something that I know but slightly different, or, like, I would have loved to see this 10 years ago. And I think I kind of like that a little too much, but I don't know. I used to get always so excited about it, so I'm kind of like, is it going to be valuable? Is it going to be worth it?
The Pokemon Company and the Pokemon community have made it to where it's like, what's there to be excited about? Everyone's toxic and stupid and cheating, and then the Pokemon Company isn't even giving us any like good news. They haven't made it like X and Y and Sun and Moon on purpose. So I want Pokemon to be good. I want to be as hype as Pokemon, but no one's allowing that. So it's hard.
Oh, I know. It is because there's just no energy behind it right now. There's no real energy behind anything. What's the biggest thing that's released? The fucking Elden Ring DLC? And that was what, 3 weeks ago now? Something like that?
No, that was last month.
Exactly. There's no fucking energy behind anything right now. It feels like everything's so fucking dead.
That's been the internet for a while. And gaming.
It's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. Like Call of Duty just released its Season 5. COD Champs happened. And it's just like there's no energy behind anything. Nothing. It's just everything's just an energy vacuum right now. And it just feels like everything's dead. It's weird. Like the last hype thing that I've seen everybody get hyped behind was what? That fucking turn-based game. Baldur's Gate. Turn-based, yeah.
Yeah, but even that had drama because, like, you got to fuck a bear and people weren't having that. And that's really all it is. It's just like Baldur's Gate is the horniest RPG run you've had with your friends, and people just wanted that.
So what you're saying is it turned everybody into a furry for a little bit.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to just be furry. You can get your hot demon mama or something.
Isn't that technically not human? So technically, wouldn't that be furry too?
That doesn't fall into furry. That's like other fantasy shenanigans. I think that's really it. Like, everyone's just so horny and touch starved because we're not communicating and getting along with each other. Baldur's Gate was it. It's the porn without porn. It's like when you watch a cam girl on Twitch, It's not. I'm not actually on Pornhub. This is safe.
It's like when all these women just go out and read smut books because they don't want to, God forbid, they actually act out their fantasies. But you know what? They're going to read a book about how some blacksmith is going to bend them over the anvil right now and hammer them.
Speaking of people getting hammered, I don't know how to transition. Mr. Beast is
No.
done.
Oh, it's going to be weird if he actually gets transitioned into this. And he hasn't really yet, from what I've seen. Like,
I've seen a little bit.
what he's doing the team art thing, and we'll have you lay out everything, but he's doing the team art thing, just shutting his mouth. He's like, I'm not going to be
Hmm.
a part of any of this. Fuck all of you. I don't care. He's just like, I'm putting my hands up. This isn't me. So what's going on with Mr. Beast, then?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, and I don't think anyone really knows like the full extent to it. Cause like there was the Discord leaks that have just like all these weird things being said about Chris's junk and how big it is and all that. And but before then, it was was Chris talking to a 14-year-old? Yes. And then were there more? Seems like it. And then it's hard to like kind of see like, okay, we have like a lot of confirmed weird and bad stuff, but then of course people are going to add BS to that to get their drama or 5 minutes of fame or just do their trolling. But the thing is, there's points where Mr. Beast is involved. And it's like, how did you not know when you're sitting in your friend's room and there's video of you looking over to the side at like a lolly poster? Like at that point, you'd be like, dude, you can't be on the crew. And then there's other things where it's like in the Discord leaks, it's like the person saying that is Mr. Beast's Discord account in
Yeah.
being here.
And it's crazy to me. Like, for the longest time, I remember hearing Vito talking about lolly shit and a whole bunch of other people talking about lolly shit. I'm like, I have no fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about. I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And this has brought it so far into the forefront of absolutely everything that I think it's slowly becoming more known by absolutely everybody. Like, I know I'm that transitional kind of area where it's like I'll know about most things, but I won't know about everything.
Hmm.
And then there's the generation that's younger than us that will know all of the lingo about every little thing that we didn't know yet. And then the older people older than us will absolutely know nothing. They won't know what the fuck a lolly is. They have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Unless they're absolute degens that haven't left their mother's basement yet.
Well, then like they're the ones that need their hard drive checked.
Yeah, but it's like this is so insane to watch somebody be applauded. Literally, what was it? 3 months ago, 4 months
Hmm.
ago, something like that, when people were coming out saying, "Chris, give us your job. Get off of Mr. Beast. What you're showcasing to other people is not okay." And Jimmy came out, "Oh, guys,
He's my friend. Fuck off or something like that.
no," he said, "I'm so done with this transphobia. He's my friend. He's not leaving." Something similar to that.
Hmm.
And it's just like, guys, it was never the trans shit. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It
that's what
was
makes
never
this
the trans
topic
shit.
kind of tricky because you need to pull that apart, but it's also woven on all sides and both sides because now it's like anytime anyone gets caught with any kind of material, it's like it's because they're that. But it's like, but what about the other thing? Because that dude was a freak at all points. But then,
That's the
yeah,
shitty thing to me is like, you cannot use every little thing to your defense. Like, if I get pulled over, I can't be like, I'm white, guys. Don't do anything. Or I'm a guy,
mhm.
guys. It's okay. Patriarchy. Like, nobody should be doing that. That's not how you defend yourself. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm adverse to this. I'm sorry." Like, you did it. If you did it, you did it. Accept it. Stop trying to throw this racism, this sexism, this transgenderism into everything because you're making everything around you look like shit.
I think it's the polarization because like the more people try to use it as like, oh, but I kind of have like special protected class status that the internet has given me, then everyone's like, well, it's because you're that thing, and since you made it that thing, it's like the reason why you're doing this is because you're that thing. Instead of the middle of just a weird dude. It just like straight up wrong, regardless of whatever your affiliation is. But don't use it as a defense because then people are going to use that as an offense, and now everyone hates each other.
So this is where I get weirded out and confused by all of this. He pushed a lot of his ideals onto his son. And that's where I get grossed
And
out.
that's why
That's where
people are
I
weaving it together.
that's why I think people get confused and grossed out by this shit. And I'm going to try and speak very eloquently and very in depth, and I'm going to speak probably horribly in this situation. So forgive me if I misspeak a little bit. There is zero hate coming out of my mouth. I legitimately supported so much of this shit until this shit.
I'm a
Like my
furry. You know how
godmother.
many of my friends are gay,
I
and
know.
we're
I
having
know.
fun the entire time. And but then
And,
people call me a transphobe or a homophobe or something. It's like,
like my kid's godfather. All three of my kids' godfathers are gay. My godmother is gay. She's like my second mom. So like
mhm.
I was a part of this culture before you guys thought it was cool. Not because I'm gay, but because I understand it and like my family was around it. Like
See, we
kids
have black
didn't go to
friends. We're okay
Pride
to say
then.
this.
No, no, like it's hard though because I'm like
Yeah.
I'm engrossed in the culture enough to understand what it is, but not engrossed in the current culture because the current culture is fucking weird.
Mhm.
And that's where I get confused. It's like those people didn't make sure I turned out gay. And that's where I get confused. Why the hell are people like Chris? Oh, my little boy's wearing high heels and applauding him for it.
Yeah,
That's
it's all
where I get
about
grossed out. It's like,
recruitment now because they
yeah.
want more attention and more power and more momentum in the social media time.
And my godmother, who may even want to come on here at some point, she got like 10, 15K on TikTok. It might actually be an interesting
Wow.
conversation. She's she's not even doing it as a job. She just does it for shits and giggles because she's like, I like talking to people. It might actually be an interesting conversation. But like she is the lesbian against the LGBT now, like Milo was back in the day. She's like, none of this shit is acceptable.
Hmm.
None of this shit is okay. And it's just like, and I talked to her. I was like, why? Why is this the rhetoric? She's like, we can't have kids. So we have to follow where the kids are. So that way there's more. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh. And it just
But
makes my
you're in
skin
the
crawl.
community and saying this, like, you're not allowed to say it, but we can't.
Yeah, no, and it makes your skin crawl because it's like, what the fuck is genuinely their ideal? And that's the part where I struggle because I'm not that, so I don't necessarily know exactly where their mind is. It's like, okay, so if you're this, how do you think of all of this things? Because I can only picture it from my perspective. Like, if I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, so I want to move on with the rest of my life. What do I want? I want somebody by my side. Do I want a dude or a chick? Nope. That's not even a question. It is always a chick or by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it in life scale. How do you picture that? I don't understand where anybody can be like, oh, this. Like, what the fuck? Like, how is that a question?
Hmm.
Those things aren't a question to me. So that's where I kind of get uncomfortable and confused because I'm like, I don't understand. It's like religion. Oh, there's 50 different fucking answers of what possibly could be there, and I don't understand any of them. So Chris, I guess, was
Well,
caught.
quickly, like on what you were saying, like yeah. Also, what I've noticed, like people that are older and have been in the community, they're upset at almost the washing, to make the bad things go away. Because back in 2010, 2011, 2012, it wasn't a secret. It was no surprise that it's about sexual liberation. It's
Yeah,
pride in that. But now it's not a sexuality. It has nothing to do with sex. It can't have anything to do with sex. All those pride marches need to be like PG for the kids. Like, but that was not what it was
but they're
before, and
not
now it's
PG
weird.
for the kids. They're not PG for the
But they're
kids,
trying
and
to
that's the
pretend it
fucked.
is, and you're not allowed to be critical of it, even though it's always been that way. You can't say it's always been about
But
sexuality,
it's
even
the
though,
same
yeah.
exact thing that they're trying to do with the current ticket for the Democrats. If they end up running
Mhm.
Kamala Harris, if you say anything negative, it's racist against Asians and blacks. You want to know who they're going to run for their VP possibly? Pete Buttigieg. So that way, if you say anything against it, it's because he's gay.
Hmm.
And it's just like, guys, you can't just stack things like this. This is not how this
Yeah.
goes.
Well, it was also like the week before. It's like I'm riding with Biden. He is fit. He is healthy. He is the only person I'm voting for. And then now it's Kamala all the way.
And did you see all the whitewash of everything that everybody is doing? I don't want to go completely off topic, but have
Yeah.
you seen the derangement level of shit that
Like
fucking
everything's just that crazy right now.
Elon's
There's a million
posted?
things to talk about.
Did you see the shit Elon posted? He's like,
Hmm.
guys, if you search Donald Trump, every single fucking headline is Kamala. It's not Trump at all.
Yeah, or if you say like
He's been removed
assassination
completely,
attempt of
essentially.
D, it doesn't have Donald Trump. Like you cannot find a Google search for Donald Trump's
He searched
assassination.
President Donald,
Hmm.
and first answer was President Ronald Reagan. What the fuck is going on? Guys,
Yep.
they are legitimately silencing you again. Get off your asses. Okay, back to
Hmm.
the MrBeast shit. This is where I get rather confused because I'm trying to figure out exactly what is the person, what is the ideology, and what is the problem. And not because I don't understand what the problem is, but I'm trying to figure out where on the shade of like
Hmm.
autism this shit
What
is.
overlap is influencing what, if any?
Exactly, because there has to be some.
Especially
So,
if like
so
you're proud of your kid wearing high heels and you're celebrating it like that. That's
but
icky.
this is where my tism comes into the situation, and this is where I start getting to be uncomfortable. I never will joke about like not gay shit, but I won't make sexual advances on people at all unless I'm actually interested in having sex with them. That to me is just weird. Why am I saying, "Oh, suck my dick" to my best friends? Nope,
That makes a
doesn't
lot of
happen.
sense. I actually didn't think about that way before, but that's how I naturally go through anything. If you're just like being flirty and teasy, you're only hurting the other person's feelings unless you have intent, or if it's like non-consensually pushing that onto them, then it's making them
E-
uncomfortable and putting all kinds of weird shit and going in.
Exactly. Like, did you go through high school and your young adulthood like making those jokes to your dude friends? Because I didn't.
My dude friends know.
That's weird, right? Because to
Yeah.
me, that's really fucking weird. Like, why would I be like, haha, suck my dick, my dick's big, fuck you.
Yeah, like I
Like,
never had any of that engagement. And that's weird because like sometimes you hear like anecdotal stories of it's like
like
talking about that stuff with other
around with,
people. I'm like, my friends are not even close
fucking
to
around
that.
with your friends, absolutely. Talking about
Hmm.
sex, absolutely. But being direct and telling them to do something, that to me is different and weird. Like, be like Brendan Herrera, he'll flirt and fuck around with Wendigoon. I can understand that.
Oh, there's a
Like,
lot of sexual tension there.
but there's a line. You know what I'm saying? There's a line of like, okay, this is
Hmm.
confusing and I don't understand, and this is them and I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. And I've been around gay dudes that have fucked around. You know what I'm saying? I've been around gay relationships that have fucked around. So like, I understand where I was uncomfortable in those situations when comments were made towards me. I don't understand where everybody is making all these comments towards everybody. Like, I would not be talking about how big my dick is or how hot my cum loads are if I wasn't
Hmm.
portrayed in that light
Let alone
without
towards children you know are underage when they're around in your Discord because of the content you make.
exactly. And that's fucking weird to me. You see what I'm saying is like you layer these things on top of each other
Yeah,
and
so
it
it's like
just looks
even at the beginning, it's like I don't even do this with my friends, let alone other people, let alone minors, let alone people I know that are minors that are I've
and
invited into my space.
I will give Woody and PK a lot of fucking credit because I told them, I was like, guys, I'm proud of you for not
Hmm.
accepting any minors, regardless of if they give you money, you kick them out and refund them. I was like, I'm happy about this because having availability for that open dialogue, because Woody was the father of the internet. He was willing to answer
Hmm.
sex questions. He's still going to get them now. I'm sure that in that conversation, whether they have a sex show or whatever the fuck's going on that night, making sure that minors are not in that Discord is a good fucking idea. Imagine if Mr.
Hmm.
Beast was having fucking sex shows randomly in the fucking Discord. Like just comparing
Yeah.
two things that we know have
Well, it's also
happened.
the audience, is where it's just like you know there's a large amount of children, and they have to know there's a large amount of minors there, so it is
And
irresponsible to
then
do it regardless.
And then if you look at Discord's terms of service, it says if there's 18 plus channels, you, the owner of the server, has to make sure that they are unavailable to minors.
Hmm.
Do you know what Discord does to make sure that 18 plus channels have a availability to them? The only thing that they do. They do not check account age. They
Yeah,
say 18 plus, do you accept?
yeah, yeah. Like there's mature content here. Yes, no. But there's no verification. Your account is not locked as a 15-year-old account that can never click the yes button.
And that to me is weird. That to me is weird. It should not be that easy.
Hmm. Well, I mean, but it's that
Especially
easy on Twitter and Twitch now.
but as a whole, like you look at Discord and everything else. Discord is the only app on iPhone right now that if there is adult content, you don't have to log into a computer to accept it.
Can you
Reddit, you have to.
incognito like mature content on Twitter?
I don't know about Twitter, but Reddit, you have to sign in on your computer in order to
Yeah.
accept it. Whatchamacallit? You have fuck. My mind just completely went blank. That was crazy.
YouTube doesn't let you see any 18 plus
Unless you're
content.
signed in. But iPhone has a block for it, is what my point was it literally makes you sign into the app. The app then makes you sign into the computer. And there's a level of disconnect there for the privacy of the people, making sure that you're protecting kids. Why is that not the answer? Why? And the fact that he pushed it is like, okay, well, kids are in here, but we need this. Why the fuck do you need this? How hard is it? And this is the easy fucking answer, and it proves his malintent. And it's so logical to me. And it
Allegedly
fucking
proves
logical
the malintent.
No, it proves the malintent. Fucking sue me. Do it. Sue it. Do it. Get seen by millions of views right now, and I'll fucking say it. I don't care.
I was like, oh, he's gonna turn this into a short and make it even more publicity.
I will. Make a MrBeast After Dark channel that you have to be approved by Patreon to be fucking in there. It's not fucking rocket science. It's not. Make it a paid fucking server that you have to be over 18. It's not hard.
And even then, why would you want to find people in your audience, even if they are over 18, to have them be in like a mature After Dark only space? Like, sure, you're freak, you can do that. Other people are looking for it. I completely disagree.
That's the easy answer.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's the easy answer,
and that's the safer way, because then like it's not like, oh, I knew they were 14 and I still like joked about my dick.
Like our Discord server, don't use it very often, but even if it was active and it was having people in there, if there was availability for kids to be in there, my kids aren't in there. You think my kids are going to be available to that Discord server? Never. Not even once. Do they watch my content? Sometimes, but not always. Do you think that matters? No. It's not their fucking shit. It's not their business. It's not it's not shit that they need to worry about. And that to me is the gross shit. It's like there is so many easy fucking answers on how this sits there and how this actually gets changed and affected. I don't understand why this is the answer. There is only malintent. There is only malintent.
My Discord doesn't have any not safe for work channel. I've had people like ask, like, hey, make one so we can post like some spicy stuff in there. I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want any adults. I don't want to find out the weirdos in my adult audience. I don't want a child sneaking in. So that's also where you can look at other creators. The thing is, this weaves into Weedle Twin Needle with me, because that dude's definitely.
I saw your comments. Yeah. Yes.
Because sexually harassing and oh yeah, right. Timestamp 2015. Cut it out.
Nope, we're good.
Or not.
I'm just saying, like, gotta try and be somewhere in the line of what we need.
Yeah, Weedle Twin Needle, 100% PDF from all the proof that I've shown in my videos and stuff, where it's like, you're stalking and sexually harassing someone in my audience that you know is a minor, and also you make Pokemon content for children. There is no mask. There is no, oh, I'm aiming for older audiences. And when you're like that,
this is where it gets hard to want to make content, and this is the.
I'm not done. You hold that thought, because if you look at his thumbnails, it's all Pokemon having sex. It's putting that and that in the thumbnail for children, and then your character in Pokemon is canonically a child, and everyone knows that. It's not like, oh, he's 18, bro. No, so you have a children's game character like cheering on Pokemon simulating sex in the thumbnail. You're a freak and a PDF 100%. And you have this audience with your Discord, and you have like private mature channels. You're doing the same stuff as Chris in there, and everyone knows it, except for your audience. And then, yeah. So that's why I'm like, wow, there's a lot of overlap with this.
No, and it's the same exact shit that we were
and YouTube's complicit. Apocalypse 4.0, please.
It's the same shit that we were looking at with the Gamer from Mars, where as a whole, he looks at all of these. We look at all those thumbnails, and they're all aggressive towards kids. Why the fuck is a Paw Patrol with ass out, with oozing fucking fluid? What the is this? What the fuck? And like,
And
and this is why,
yeah,
this is what I was going to say, is like, it is really hard to look at this stuff and be like, okay, I want to make adult content with this game. Okay, you're going to make adult content with Pokemon.
where's the age gate? Like, yeah, if there was an age gate for those thumbnails and the content side, then you have like plausible deniability, even though you know kids are still getting through and lying. But at the same time, it's like, nah, not how you have it set
And
up.
as a whole, I'll be honest right here. You want to know when I started watching porn? At fucking 14. I understand it. I get the point that they're trying to touch on. I understand what they're touching on
I
as a
mean,
way
sex
to get.
education in middle school. I saw a picture of a dick in 5th grade because that's what it was about. And then, yeah, like, so we had the male only in 5th grade, and then middle school is when you see everyone's everything. But even then then there's a little drop
Mine
box.
was
If you
even
want to
different
talk,
than that.
yeah, but if you want to talk to the health teacher, you can write in like a question about like, hey, my junk is doing this, and then you put it in the box, and it's anonymous, and you get your answers. And there's always that curiosity. Everyone at 15, 16 is Googling average penis size. Everyone. Where should it
Yeah.
be at 14? I need to make sure I'm on track. So that like the
I remember
curiosity is
talking
there,
about
but you
dick size
shouldn't
in
be
6th
serving
grade.
it to people.
No, you shouldn't be serving it to the kids. If there's a power dynamic there, and
Not even
that's
power dynamic. You should just never be searching for to give that content to kids ever.
and that's my point, is like, as a content creator, if you want to make an adult type of channel, not sex based, but actually have the availability to have the conversation and those things, that's where, like, I'm a very, very vulgar person. I say fuck all of the time, but you don't see people like, I can't even think, like Hayden doesn't portray himself towards kids. He is a rather adult kind of Pokemon YouTuber. And regardless of
Yeah, like the
problems
small
or
thing I can respect him for,
unproblems,
despite being a cheater. Yeah.
but that's my point, is like, looking at these things like Nappy, he wasn't, I don't think he aged himself towards kids. He was very vocal and vulgar with how he spoke. But the way that shit was portrayed to kids got him in the situation that he was in. And I'm trying to speak incorrectly, but correctly at the same time. Like, you see a lot of YouTubers in that place where they're like, which way do I go? Do I go for the money, where they go super hard towards getting kids to watch their videos? Or do they go towards what they specifically are as a person? And I think that part is where it is hard for me to be a YouTuber. It's hard to make content.
Because, like, it's actually clear A Drive isn't a PDF, even though he targets children for the money. Nappy was doing it for other reasons.
Exactly. And that's my point, is like, you can see Dan wants to just get money out of this. And I'm not going to say anything negative about him in that sense. He's a dad trying to get as many dollary dues out of the situation as he possibly can. And he's already around kids with his kids. So isn't it much easier for him to make kid-based content? Abso-fucking-lutely. That's why he changed from Call of Duty to begin with. That's why Team Caliber showed him how to do the things that he does. That's exactly why. Nobody is saying that grift, that I'm just going to be a child YouTuber, isn't fucking weird. It is weird.
Yeah,
it's
exploiting
weird.
children for money, weird.
But as a whole, every YouTuber has to make that choice. Every YouTuber does. Are you going to be the edgy person like a Howard Stern and actually just do this and protect yourself and not have contact with people? Because that's kind of what it has to be at this point, unless you're interacting publicly in the comments. Or do you go so far down the rabbit hole where you don't say fuck, you say fup. You say what the frick. You say what the heck. To me, that seems very disingenuous, and it's really, really hard to swallow because it doesn't feel real.
It's also against the rules because of COPA, but YouTube doesn't enforce COPA like they don't enforce sexual content targeted towards kids. I want Apocalypse 4.0 so bad. Burn it all because of this Chris Tyson thing. Let's go.
I think, honestly, like Jimmy, legitimately, before this, he was a legitimate political candidate in 5 to 10 years. He was setting the groundwork to do something crazy within the next 5 to 10 years. And you just watched it all fucking burn. All of it. All of it just burnt down to the fucking ground.
Actually, that reminds me of something I want to talk about. Because, like, also detaching, like, Jimmy from the Chris shenanigans and everything else going on, he was edgy AF back in the day. So now that the skeletons are coming out, people are digging. They are giving him the full physical exam, and they have found some dirty stuff.
if you don't look at it as the Chris thing is connected to it, the edgy shit that Jimmy did, I do not fucking care about.
That's where I disagree because of the culture we're in and because I've been canceled for less. I haven't said the F slur.
But
He said it multiple times. I don't joke about the N word. He does. He's allowed to be the largest
I
creator
don't,
on YouTube.
but I don't agree with your cancellation at all.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, like, if
Oh,
we're all playing by the same rules, he must be canceled to a larger degree. And if not, then why was I canceled to begin with? It's all bullshit.
and I've stood up for you so many times on that
Mm-hmm.
ground. And I know you've seen it. I know you log into the channel. I know you see the
Yeah.
comments. Like I'm very, very open and forward. What you said is not wrong. What you were canceled for is absolutely insane to me. And the fact that it made you a burnt human because you got canceled on something stupid
Yeah.
is absolutely entirely the cancellation's problem. And I've stood up for you in comments. I've stood up for you in
Mm-hmm.
private. I I don't even remember if I told you. I had a 2.5 hour long conversation that one of our fans, he's like, I don't know why you're talking to Verlicify. I don't know why you engage with him. And I'm like, because he's a genuine fucking guy. That's why.
That
Because
actually hasn't done anything wrong compared to everything
make
else or what could be
making
said.
people human, showcasing that people can be human and being a raw version of that is one of the most important things we can do. If you're going to oust somebody from the group of life, okay, why? Why? Chris, this is an answer. Why? This is why you kick somebody out of the fucking group. Not because they said something, not because they were derogatory towards somebody, not because they sat there and lit a flame underneath somebody and said, fuck you. Like, I'm sorry, that's not like even telling somebody to off themselves, which I understand what was said. Like, I'm trying to skate around TOS here, but like that, I don't make jokes about it. I don't make jokes about it because I attempted. I attempted.
Mm-hmm.
But if I make jokes towards that, do I get canceled? If I say I'm going to,
Mm-hmm.
does that cancel me? Does that mean I'm gonna have a knock on the door because some dipshit's gonna call the fucking cops? Like where does this line from internet to human come?
Well, that was another thing in Pokemon because Sacred, he was the one that actually like said, if you disagree with me here, you all actually need to drink whatever. I said base liquids because then I know like don't cross the line. I'm trying to
Yeah.
play like careful with the line that offends them, and then I must be canceled for not saying the thing, and then
And
people say the thing and don't get canceled.
I think that's where you went wrong if we want to be
I wasn't
like
edgy enough. I didn't actually say the N
that's my
word, which
point.
makes me worse.
No, and that's my point. I think you dragging your nuts on the fence that is TOS is the reason why you got canceled and disliked as heavily as you did. If you were the character you are now and just vocally available then, and you were willing to call people fucking douchebags, and you stepped farther like Wings did. You know how Wings had that second pop after he started getting
Mm-hmm.
trolled and fucked with? If you drug your nuts on the line and started telling people that they're fucking idiots and fucking retards
I
and
tell
everything
everyone they're
else.
idiots. I just don't tell them to.
Yeah. Oh, but I think that you dragging your nuts on the line when you had a big problem was the reason why everybody kind of like, what the
But
fuck?
see, that's what means. Like, I'm on the line. I'm not crossing it. Why are you guys so upset? Like, then they get less upset if I actually cross the line. And these rules don't make
It,
sense.
that's why I think that the situation is exactly what Jimmy's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy's not going to respond to this. He's not going to say absolutely fucking anything. He's not going to say anything. He's not going to do anything. He's not going to be a part of this entire conversation. He's going to keep his mouth shut. He's going to sit there and wait. He's not going to do anything because it's not his job to. He's going to protect himself. He's got to do the same exact thing T. Martin did. And I'm not blaming T.
Mm-hmm.
Martin at all. I love Trevor. What I don't see, I may be a fucking dad, but as a whole, I don't agree with this whole, oh, kids are completely innocent in these situations. Like a kid that goes and bets money on a gambling CSGO website had to click 15 different times and steal a credit card in order to do that. That kid isn't being taken advantage of. The parent is. Like, let's be honest about this. Like CSGO Lotto is not really affecting the 15-year-old that's betting money. It's affecting the 28-year-old. It's affecting the 32-year-old just as much, if not more,
Mm-hmm.
because they're the parents in that situation. The
And then,
40-year-old.
yeah, then
You know
comes
what
down
I'm
to like
saying?
the blame on the parents. Like, you shouldn't let your kid have access to the internet if you don't want these things to happen.
And it's like the internet, really? The internet is where you draw this line? That is crazy. That's where it gets, okay, at what level does a parent have to do all this? Where do I
Mm-hmm.
have to do all this? Because this isn't okay. This isn't just going and moving forward and doing everything that you have to do. If it's doing everything you have to do, okay, so they can't have a phone. They can't have internet. They can't have any apps on the phone, even if you give them one. They can't have YouTube because everything on YouTube is fucking inappropriate. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you click YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
So fuck you. Now it's my job to do what your job was when you said you created an app for it. So where? And and my kid's mom actually literally brought this up about a month and a half ago, because both of my kids have phones now. I bought them both phones. I'm like, I need to be able to contact you if anything goes wrong. Like, I'm becoming more and more of a person. Having that availability because there's more loudness behind my voice is probably smart. Just that way, in case people do knock at the door, guys, there's SWAT in the driveway. You are fine. It's okay. Get dropped off from school. You are fine. Everything will be okay. Like, I've already had those problems. I've already been doxxed. So as a whole, I wanted that availability. My son was watching YouTube shorts. There's YouTube Kids shit. Like, there just is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. Instead of gating him to just YouTube Kids where he can watch Paw Patrol, he's fucking 11. At what point is he going to not
Mm-hmm.
want to watch Fortnite? At what point is he not going to want to watch Call of Duty Champs or whatever? Like, he's going to start
Yeah.
exploring
Also,
about
like
what he wants to watch.
the real content, like a good documentary out there that isn't going to be on YouTube Kids, where it's just like, oh, he's not even allowed to like get something off the Discovery Channel or actual
Or
informative
even
historical content.
like a let's play of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time HD, played by this person.
Mm-hmm.
What linguistically stops him from watching that? Them saying,
Yeah.
okay, Blue Chew. Really? Like, I understand I'm in content, so I'm trying to take myself out of that situation, but like, okay, that's an ad. Kids see ads all the time. You know how many ads that there were on NASCAR for fucking
I mean,
Viagra?
just Fox, yeah, during the news, Viagra. I remember tons beer commercials. I'm a
Yeah.
minor. Why am I being exposed to alcohol?
Or
Cigarettes.
cigarettes. So as a whole, to me, I don't think that the way that they're setting things up is on me. It's not on
Yeah.
like, you guys aren't handling it correctly. It's my job to handle it now. So she messaged me. She's like, your son was sitting there scrolling, and I heard, so you make a silicone ass. And I'm like, okay, why the fuck is that on YouTube? Why the fuck is making a silicone mold of your ass on YouTube at all?
Mm-hmm.
Why? And then you hear Woody. And I'm not even saying that this doesn't have a place online at all. I'm just saying that why is there websites like Twitch and YouTube allowing these things? Because it shouldn't be. Okay, so anybody under 18 can't see nipples. Okay, then why are there not nipples on 18 above on YouTube? Why is there no YouTube after dark? Why is there no Twitch after dark? To me, these lines are
Mm-hmm.
fucking arbitrary, and you're just kind of drawing lines wherever the fuck you see fit.
Yeah. Well, it's because like then you have payment processor issues on like straight up hardcore content,
Mhm.
but then you lose viewers. So it's just like if everyone ignores it, then there's no legal
Like, Dr.
culpability. There's no.
Disrespect was banned from how many things within a week?
Mm-hmm.
Why, when this situation is worse, the age is worse, everything is more drastic, has his ads not been pulled?
Yeah, everyone likes MrBeast more, therefore it's okay. I think it's all
I'm not even
bullshit. I
saying
hate it.
Jimmy. I'm not even saying Jimmy. Like, he
Yeah.
is one of the people that will foundationally bring this website closer to being in the green. So, like, even thinking about this logically and saying that they're not going to remove MrBeast channel as availability for being ad placement. But this is like fucking PewDiePie. This is that level. One of those guys. Why is Chris's YouTube channel still ad friendly? Why is Chris's channel on Twitter still friendly? Why is he not being preemptively banned on websites? Why is he not fucking banned from Discord and Twitch right the fuck now? He should be. It should be the first thing that fucking happened. Oh, Dr. Disrespect sat there and sent whispers on Twitch.
We don't even know what he said to how old either.
supposedly 17. I don't like.
Well,
I've heard that that's a
like I said,
lie. I've
like
heard that's not a lie.
there's so many potential levels. My funny headcanon is that Doc just like went, wait, how old are you? And they say 17, and then Dr. Disrespect says close enough. Like that's how I imagine this went down.
Even if it's worse than that. Even
Yeah.
if it's worse than that.
Still not close to
Okay,
Chris.
why are we not being equal? I will not make a fucking dick joke in public if there's fucking kids there. What the fuck is wrong? This is ghoulish to me. This is gross to me. Like dad me is like, what the fuck? Kid that
Congratulations.
was
And I know now you
abused.
know how
What
exactly
the
I
fuck?
felt for the last decade straight.
I felt this way for
Hmm.
since I've had my kids. Like I looked at it as a survivor of fucking SA at fucking 10. And I'm like, this is still wrong. Like and that's exactly what my post was on Twitter. I made a joke out of it, but like at the same time, it's like, why the fuck? Like, I don't know if you saw my
Hmm.
post on Twitter. It was fucking fantastic. You have to be able to turn some of this shit into something light at some point. But he's looking more and more like Freddy Krueger as the day goes on. Maybe he'll have a surgery and burn his face. I really hope that that's what happens next. But like as a whole, it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? We just had a PDF running the country. He's about to be fucking evicted from the White House. Now we have PDFs all over YouTube and being banned by the fucking day. Mr. T-Lexify in the Call of Duty community was just outed. Now we have an outing with Chris. Now we have this outing with Dr.
Hmm.
Disrespect. What
Nappy
the
not even
fuck?
being banned, still getting tens of thousands of views. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. This is why I'm like, we need Adpocalypse 4.0. We need COPA to matter. We need government laws to actually set this shit straight. And I don't care about like freedom. We as we've shown, like, okay, we lost our this isn't even a right. The internet isn't a right. We lost this privilege long ago, and it needs to go down. What I want to see is like actual ID verification for any kind of social media account. No one allowed under 16. I prefer 18, but I think 16 is fair. And then actually enforcing COPA, and the world becomes fucking great. The entire world changes because of it.
I think that, and as shitty as it sounds, I agree. And I am very, very free speech. I'm
Hmm.
very,
Well, that's what I
let's
mean. Like the
talk
big thing is
about,
people can't separate. The internet is not a right.
like, if we want, but even going past that,
Hmm.
say that you're available to say and do whatever you want online. Okay, whatever. But in order to sign up for the email account, you verify. Make it that way. So that way it's not the social accounts. So that way you
Hmm.
can have parody accounts. So that way you can't just have one account. Whatever, I understand. Like there's business accounts, there's everything. There's a lot of different infrastructure that we already have. But where can we protect the kids in this situation? And that to me is the availability of what YouTubers actually are. Because to me, this is like the stars that are on TV being fucking flagged for PDF. That's what it is. It's Michael Jackson being flagged. We just had
All
Michael
of the
Jackson be flagged.
Nickelodeon upper
Yeah,
management.
that's my point. No, it's the stars. It's not even the people behind it. It's the stars right now. And the stars right now are now having contact with every single fan always. So to me, you want to know how you change this? If you hit a certain threshold, you no longer have availability to private message.
I disagree with that.
No, put it on emails. Emails
Hmm.
then become more important. You become then more in depth with paying attention to them. That's our job. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a sponsor email, you have to go and make sure that it's there, right?
Well,
Why
honestly,
why
like, what
would
if you're
fan
not
mail be
even
any different?
leveraging any of this stuff? And like me, I just made Pokemon, and then suddenly I hit 500,000 subscribers, not even like trying. So it's
Yeah.
like, then why should I lose access to fans that want to learn Pokemon or like
But
messages?
would you rather have that be a public forum, a public question where it's in your comments, whatever? You should be
Hmm.
positively reinforcing the positive comments anyway. That's what our job is. We're a content creator. We're supposed to be interacting with those positive comments and those positive interactions and shun the negative ones. That's what our job is. You take an hour out of your day to make sure the comments are interacted with and you have a little bit of fucking back and forth and have some fun.
Nah,
Why is that not the answer?
my favorite thing was the YouTube messages because like you could talk to larger or up and coming creators like, and also it's arbitrary. Is it 500K? Is it 100K? Is it 10K? Is it a million? When do you lose the ability to talk to people privately just because you
Okay,
made videos?
then Easy answer, easy answer. Make it so messages can never be deleted. Let's go backwards. Go backwards because this shit's fucking ridiculous. And have daily messages then. So there's only two options. We no longer have Snapchat. Fuck Snapchat. Everything is permanent.
I just think we need regulation to put us to the point where we don't need to monitor DMs or like regulate DM, like crack down DMs like that. We're just like, if there's no one under 16 on the platform, that at least makes it a lot better.
But that's what it's supposed to be. What was MySpace when it started? All of us were fucking 13. All of us were 14. Okay. So if 13, 14 is the answer, and teenage is the answer, because that's probably what it's going to be. Everybody's going to bitch and complain that they want their daughter there. I know people, I have cousins that put their fucking kids on Facebook when they were fucking 6.
Yeah. I mean, it's not healthy. We've been just watching, like, unalive rates, like, just climb straight up because of social media. Like, it's not healthy for them. Like, there's no reason for teenagers.
And that's my point. Is like, as a whole, the world is becoming more and more sensitive to all of these situations and topics. So
okay, here's the thing. How about this? DMs only for like verified, like hard verified ID with age.
Not paid verified either. Fuck all this paid verified shit. There's a level above being verified. You have to pay to verify for the blue check mark, and then you get the gold check mark if you ID verify and you're of a certain viewership or whatever. And then you're available to DM other people that have that check mark. Make it so it's that way. Or business accounts are allowed to have that verification too for free or whatever. That's, to me, the most logical answer is like, at some point you become verified as this is the actual person.
Yeah, that also helps me because like I want to know the person I'm talking to is an actual human and their intent is trackable.
Or either of us searching for a guest for this show. If we message Wings of Redemption and it's fucking Wings Tings because he's impersonating Wings of Redemption, that makes us look incompetent. When as a whole, if it's not a verified account, do you actually know who you're talking to without them verifying it? No, you fucking don't. You don't. And it's hard. It's hard to grasp. It's hard to actually do the job that you have to do without there being protections in place. Like I remember one time I was sent a message by my head mod on here. If he's not trustworthy, it's kind of hard. But my head mod Tickers, he's like, hey, I have contact with Milo. I know Milo was your favorite guest on PK. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I love Milo. I still talk to Milo, which is crazy. That's something that I never expected. But as a whole, he's like, here's Milo's email. I set up an interview with Milo for PKA again, and he fucking no-showed. I'm like, was that even Milo? Like, was that the real person? Randomly, he pops in my DMs. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, first off, you ghosted me. And I don't know if you did or not. I don't know if it was really you or not. So I called it out. I was like, hey, I don't know if this is my tism talking, but like, you fucking ghosted me and you made me look like a fucking chump. You made me look like a piece of shit because I'm like, huge guest. We got this. No show. I'm like, ugh. So I called it out. I don't know if it was him or not, but as a whole, if it was verified, if it was known, like I don't have to go through my head mod being in a Telegram group with Milo Yiannopoulos and being like, hey, here's his email, hoping that it's the right one. Do you know how shitty that is? Like, honestly, that could have been so fucking shitty. That could have been huge. That could have been a huge fucking problem just because it's not fucking verified. That chat room gets leaked then. That problem gets leaked then. What level does that go to? I lose my job because something fucking gets out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck's going on? It sucks. It sucks because there's no level of protection for trying to do this as a job. It's weird. And then obviously with cancel culture, if you do anything slightly incorrect, you get fucking burned at the stake too.
Only if you're not liked enough. If people like you, you're allowed to get away with it.
Or if you're vulgar enough to just say, fuck you. Honestly, the T. Martin way of just continuing the day as usual seems like it's the answer. Just flipping them the bird and continuing on. I don't think Jimmy actually gets a negative repercussion for this unless he faces it.
Yeah, but things like I'm not allowed to flip the bird and move on. So, like, also some people just lose it. Or Alex Jones, you get your entire shit taken away for being inaccurate for one time ever and apologizing.
I don't even think
I think cancellation
I,
is real, and that's why I think it's bullshit.
I think the apology that Alex did is the reason why he got sued.
Nah,
Because no,
they were going to take him down no matter what.
I agree, but I'm saying like as a whole, think about it this way. The fact that he said I am sorry, I understand, made him culpable of what he said. Like it then brought it
Mhm.
back into being real because he's like,
I mean,
"Oh, this
he was already removed from social media before then and purged, and
yes, I'm saying the lawsuit as a whole couldn't happen unless he
it would
apologized
definitely
because
have
then he's not
happened.
facing it." Oh, it probably would have. I don't think it would have been as impactful as it was. And that lawsuit scares the fuck out of me. Like logically, what happens if you hit something the opposite of what it
Hmm.
is? What what happens if this is all Mr. Beast instead of Chris? And it was just Mr. Beast telling Chris he has to do this and has to do that. And like what happens then?
Hmm. Well, also, like, and the thing about defamation is that's so wishy-washy. That's like you're allowed to call someone a neo-Nazi, and that's not definition or defamation. But then Alex Jones loses billions to like a couple families.
And they should have been paid. If they were actually harmed in that situation, he said this person, this person, this
Mhm.
person, this person. I agree. He should have to pay them and say, I'm sorry publicly and affect change. Like, but we cannot sit there and burn people at the stake for being a person that's questioning things. I don't think questioning things should ever be the problem. And that's where this whole Mr. Beast shit comes. And that's
Mhm.
why it's hard to me is like a lot of LGBT people will cut off conversation because it makes them less human, they feel. Oh, I'm this and you're questioning it. Like and I'm going to shred it into territory. If I go too far, stop me. Like don't feel afraid to step on my toes here. To me, my
Stop.
biggest question to me, my biggest question in this situation is okay, so you guys are saying that you don't have the right hormones in this situation. Okay, I understand your problem. But can we try something with a few people and see if it works first? Can we give you the hormone you're supposed to have and bring it up to normal levels? Like imagine if Kyle, when he was low on testosterone and he was overweight and he was struggling with his weight, he was like, "Oh, I'm a female, I guess," and start taking estrogen. That's validated right now. That's affirming his care. But he took testosterone and he fixed the problem. Obviously, that's not what happened.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that. But does that change? Does that affect the situation? And to me, that's interesting. To me, that question is so valid. But it's
I
like
mean,
asking that publicly
yeah.
is wrong.
I feel like it's already been done with the entire history of biology before then, for the most part. Ignoring when we were like lobotomizing people and stuff. Yes, medical science does fail us, but that isn't an
Mhm.
excuse to be to like automatically makes believe someone what they
But
are until they
doesn't
try to
that
like figure it out first.
and I've seen this post so many times and I love the sentiment behind it, but I know it's missing the point. It's like, okay, so affirming your gender is cutting off your genitalia. Then why is it not connected to your genitalia? Why is your
Yeah,
gender not
exactly.
connected to it? And I'm
Well,
like,
that's why I've been talking about with like, oh, the pride movement is trying to separate from it being a sexuality, even though it was only
it,
always that. And yeah, if it's not
and
about,
that to me is where it gets weird. And that's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, so if you're saying that gender is not connected to your physical being, then why is your physical being the reason that you're affirming it?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's a lost argument then. Like, okay, we can cycle on that argument, but it's going nowhere. Okay, so let's drop that entire thing. LGBT, LGB, the LGB movement, because that's what it should be logically because of sex and their sexual identity.
And that's another weird thing where we're trying to be as careful and respectful, where it's like if it isn't any, if it has nothing to do with sexuality, then why is the T there in this sexual pride movement?
Exactly. If it's about their sexual preference and they were fighting for their sexual preference to be accepted by others, which is that's not how you do things.
Hmm.
Let me just say that openly and honestly. The things that go on in my house are only supposed to be acceptable to me because it's in my house. If it happens in my bedroom and nobody else is hurt or unaccepting of that situation, then guess what? It happened in my bedroom. Why do you have to worry about it? You know, like that to me is where it gets weird. Like the rights of the situation, I 100% agree with. Have the right to get married, but don't force somebody to have to say you get married. Where is that weird? Where is that weird? Oh, the religion that you subscribe to doesn't agree with your belief system. Okay, then guess what? As a whole, you can't get married there. Why is that? Why do they have to force that to me? And that to me is where it's weird because I'm not religious. I don't agree with it. I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to perceive, I'm trying to grasp it. But their arguments that they're giving now is like, okay, well, our God sees that as sin. Okay, I understand that they see it as sin. Therefore, you should live by the way that you should, not by your inequalities in you. And I think that's even the wrong way to say it, but like the sins that you have in your mind, you're not supposed to answer to everyone. You're not supposed to go get that cheeseburger. You're not supposed to be a glutton for punishment. You're not supposed to be all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of those sins. So why do you force them to have to accept that sin, but not accept all the other sins? And then when you accept everything, don't you end up falling for everything then too? Where's the line? You're moving the line. I don't know. It's really hard to grasp because it's become something of making people equal, which I agree with. Everybody that's here should have every single right.
Like, it's not hard. We're just like, okay, actually, I had a way of describing it because I keep talking about my commie friend that just says like crazy stuff. We're just like, conservatives have been painted as evil for just being like, okay, that's weird to me. Keep it to yourself. And like it does overreach, and then there has been things, but like recently, because now we're getting into like a caricature of a conservative from 90s, whereas I say post 2010, there's been a lot more acceptance and a lot more of like, okay, I disagree with this, but
why are there gay
you're
conservatives
allowed
if
to do
conservatives are the demon?
What I'm saying is like, yeah, it's just like it just went from like I don't like it, I won't like tolerate it towards me, but if you keep it to yourself, it's fine. And then like that wasn't enough.
And like
when that's everyone else, that's everyone else. I'm not opening the door to my bedroom and revealing the windows of what's going on inside with the tail.
And then you move that goalpost and you look at what the movement is doing today, where they're having fucking dildo ring toss at fucking Pride for kids.
Naked bicycle. That's been the thing in Seattle forever.
Like,
why was that? Why?
There are things that adults do. Like, and this to me is where it gets kind of confusing and trying to understand. There have been nudists since like the way back in the day. People just want to be naked for some reason. Okay, so why are you doing that in front of a kid? We don't accept that, do we?
Why is that a right to pride? Or like, why is that like, if you don't have that, you're losing something from your pride? I don't know.
And the name of it as a whole, like looking at it as somebody who's just questioning everything right at this second. Pride. Okay. Why do you have pride in indoctrinating all of these people into this thing then? That to me is weird. Like you're saying something weird. You're saying something very, 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 very on the edge of absolutely everything then. I have
think
pride
that's as much as we should say.
Yeah. It just, and it goes back to that. I wonder why that question of if we give them the hormones that they're missing, why is that a negative conversation to have? If everybody is saying that these things are happening more now and people are doing it for acceptance, right? Because I think that's genuinely what a lot of this is. You look at the different answers of, oh, I'm this sexuality, I'm asexual, I'm pansexual, I'm this, I'm that. And it's just slightly different variants off of what the original three were: gay, lesbian, and bi. All of the other ones are just slight variants off of that. Then if we look at it as somebody looking for acceptance and wanting to be a shade of gray, because that's what
the asexual kind of shows that. It's like, why do you need to find your acceptance there when you're not even caring about sex in the first place? I know like asexuality goes deeper than that, and it is like its own umbrella. But I'm saying it's like, why do you need to get attention by being thrust into that? Because you feel asexual erasure is the thing? It's like, Just be you. Just be happy for who you are. Why
And
is that
I
the
think
difficulty?
I think that is the edgiest thing to say is like, okay, so why are you forcing every other person to accept you? Why are you so worried
Why
about
is your happiness dependent on other people so much?
why? Why are you
You
so
guys tell
worried
me the
about the
color's bad, but we aren't putting that in the alphabet.
why are you so worried about the mystical imaginary dad that you never had in the situation that left and went to go get milk? That person accepting you. Why are you so worried about your mystical, magical dad that never was there accepting you that you have to say, okay, you have to accept me?
Yeah, that has
Motherfucker,
nothing to do with any letters. That's just a normal person.
the hardest part of this situation isn't getting other people to accept you because I don't care. I want you to be a human. I don't want you to encroach on every other right that I have. That's all. That's all I stand on. It's like, just don't make me do it. Don't make other people do it. I accept you as a human. I don't accept the situation. To me, it's accept yourself. Stop worrying about what other people
Yeah.
accept.
And don't make me accept you, or else I'm just going to get loathsome. I'm going to want to push back against that. When I was fine with
And,
you before,
and that's the hard thing is like them removing the availability to talk, question, ask question. Like I'm ignorant to the situation. I admit I'm ignorant. I'm sure
that
you
makes you
do
evil.
too.
If you don't automatically see the inherent what this is supposed to be, you are just wrong.
But why? Why is saying that, hey, I'm not saying that I don't accept. I'm saying that I don't understand. But when I say I don't understand, you're going to tell me that I'm an asshole and I'm a
Yeah.
retard and I don't understand. Okay, where is this level then? Let me ask the questions. Asking the questions is not evil. It's showing that I am ignorant or trying to understand the situation. And that's where this situation with Chris is fucking evil to me. It's like he's not asking a question. He's flaunting something. He's demanding something of other people. And you even see people like Finn pull away completely saying, hey, I'm not doing this. This is not okay. And it's like you see Finn cutting lines where he's like, no, this is not okay. And misgendering people, I'm not trying to. I don't understand. He's
I think
played
there's
games
also
with
like a
it too
respect
often.
thing,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
I'm not
also
trying
where
to be disrespectful in that situation. He's played games with it, so it's very hard for me to like grasp it and understand. So I'm even trying to be understanding and do it correctly. I don't. I'm not going to do it correctly. I understand that. But like this Chris shit is gross. There is no
and that goes
questions
back to
here.
the earlier part of the like where's the overlap if there is any. Regardless, it's gross, but it's weird how some things connect, and we can't talk about any of that. Eminem, what
And
did he do? I don't know.
okay, so Eminem released a CD, and it is called "The Coup de Grace: The Death of Slim Shady." And he came out and he's like, "Guys, I want you to listen to this album from number one to the end. Don't don't go out of order. It is a story, and you have to listen to it one way." And it's essentially him showing that he's killing the Slim Shady character. He through the songs he goes he has Slim Shady come from the 2000s and he's like, guys, I'm back, blah 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 blah. Says things trying to get canceled. He says the F slur. He says, oh, that's gay. He says this and that and everything else trying to get canceled. So he's like, guys, I gotta kill him. This isn't what is acceptable anymore. I have to kill him. So you listen to it forward, he kills Slim Shady. He kills that character. You listen to it backwards, he kills Marshall Mathers. So there's two parts of this conversation that I want to have. And that is the first part is why are we canceling people yet again for saying things that are on the edge of just entertainment, but yet we're not canceling people like Chris Tyson. Oh, we have creators coming out and saying things. He's not fucking removed. The things that he did are more disgusting than a lot of people that I've seen be removed for things. Even
Yeah.
things like Milo, that was one of the first people being canceled offline.
Mm-hmm.
What he said wasn't wrong. He shaded somebody in a negative light. That's not negativity in that way.
Yeah, that is the thing, because like your first reaction is, yeah, but everyone's destroying Chris right now. However, the powers that be, or like the institutions that
They're
cancel, are
holding him
not.
there.
Yeah.
They're holding him there. And that to me is the worst part. Is like, oh, we have him at the stake. Okay, I agree with not taking his right to speak away. I kind of do. But
Well, you kind of don't when you say you want DMs canceled.
no, it's weird. I kind of want there to be availability to protect the kids in that situation. Like, why is he in DMs at all with kids?
Mhm.
I don't agree
'Cause
there at
I,
all.
I I see a little bit of what you mean because like yeah, let the bad person speak so you can see they're bad.
Yep.
Don't censor them and let it go into hiding where it's like let them throw themselves on their sword like that. But at the same time, by keeping them in a space where they've already shown to be a danger, you can't.
But in the places that he hasn't been removed from anywhere. He hasn't been, his right to speak hasn't been removed. And
Mhm.
we know he is wrong. We know he is probably going to get sued for this. We know there is going to be a problem, especially if that tweet from his sister, if that is verified as his sister, there's going to be big problems.
Mhm.
So, to tie up the Chris part, I hope that his wife gets everything she deserves. And I hope his son is young enough not to be traumatized by this situation and affected long term by this situation because I understand what that does. Not to that level.
Mhm.
I was abused, not that way. But I understand what that level of abuse does. That abuse is hell. And it's going to be hell. Especially because it was public to the fucking internet, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah. We don't know like this is still early days for all of this. We don't know the long tail effects of who's going to be messed up by what and how bad for a long time.
Yeah.
Like we're starting
And
to
we're
see it,
even
but we don't have enough.
and you even see with the first conversation that we had, oh, everything feels burnout. There's no excitement towards anything. You all know why? Because we've been stuck in our house and we have no connection with anybody. So there's no we're constantly dopamine cycling on the next game that's coming or the next movie that's coming or the next thing that's coming. We don't have any interactions anymore. When you go to the store, how many people genuinely say hi to you? Fucking none, right?
Yeah. Like I
Like we're
usually
both
get a
creators.
happy cashier out here, and that's like a
Maybe
surprise where it's like, whoa, okay, yeah, this is my only human interaction is the
you
cashier.
go back 5, 6 years. How many people say hi? How many people? Oh, sorry, I'm in your way.
Yeah, even
Like,
that, like 5, 6 years. I remember when I first moved out to Seattle because I was like, I want to go to Washington State because that's where all the cool people are, and everyone was cool. Everyone was like smiling and waving. I'm just like, wow, this is good people coming from Florida where everyone's grumpy and just waiting to die.
yeah. No, I wanted to go to Seattle. That's literally one of
Hmm.
the places that I'm like, I would like to move there.
But yeah, now everyone is extra miserable and locked in, and it's like no one
And
is interacting anywhere.
I saw this short, and it's like, oh, I have OCD, blah 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 blah. I'm on medicine for this and everything else. And I'm like, okay. And then the chick that this dude's talking to gets all excited. Oh, I'm on OC. I have OCD too. I take this SSRI to deal with my OCD. How many things did we develop in this situation to approve of these things?
Hmm.
Guys, taking an SSRI to deal with OCD, honestly, and I have OCD. Let me just say this. And I'm not medicated for OCD, I'm medicated for my anxiety and my ADHD. My OCD is not life impactful. If it's not, I have to do 50 fucking things before I leave the house guaranteed or I forget something. You 0% of the time should be on medication for it.
Hmm.
OCD is just running and bracing thoughts of having to do 50 fucking things.
Like it is one of those things where like a lot of the time it just comes down to the human condition where it's like everyone's got a little bit of OCD, everyone's got a little bit of ADD. It's how well you can manage it yourself. But a lot of people give up.
Oh,
They just throw down that barrier and go, "I give up, brain. I can't do anything anymore."
and that's the shittiest part about it is do we all just keep accepting being the victim? And so many millennials and Gen Z and
Hmm.
from our age group until the like teenagers of now, all of them are just kind of accepting being a victim towards absolutely fucking everything, and it hurts.
Yeah, what upsets
It,
me the most is like watching the trend of where it's like autism used to be 1 in 500, now it's 1 in 30. It's like, nah,
no, no. Do you know what autism actually is?
it's a
Autism.
social disorder where you like have trouble communication.
No,
Are we talking about like hard autism?
no. Like the diagnosis of autism. Do you
No.
understand what that was given for at the beginning? It was literally given to give you the availability for an IEP in school, which is why they have autism spectrum disorder, because there's 50 fucking disorders that are under the banner of autism. Like you have the people that absolutely cannot function at all in
Hmm.
society. They cannot talk. They're nonverbal. They are abusive. Is that the same person as me? Am I technically I'm diagnosed with the same thing
Hmm.
because I can't understand and perceive people's emotions without them being open about them. Why is that the same diagnosis? Because it wasn't technically supposed to be a diagnosis at all. It
Yeah,
wasn't supposed to be
because you
that.
still function just fine ish for most people.
Yeah. But as a whole, if you look at it
Hmm.
at what a diagnosis for autism is it could be anywhere from ADD, ADHD to OCD to being nonverbal, non-available, which is why I think that everybody fights against the whole functioning, high functioning, available. Like, no, somebody's diagnosed with autism. Like,
Hmm.
I am very different than Mint. Mint is very, very functioning. She's available to do a lot of things, but her abuse put her in the situation she's in. Just like my abuse put me in the situation I'm in. But yet it's me who's broken and unavailable to do things.
Hmm.
Like I don't grasp that. I don't understand that. That to me is weird. Like I don't understand.
Yeah. And going back to like how everyone is just like, oh, I'm this, that, this, and then they find someone's like, I'm this, that, oh yeah. Where it's like, I've been on using dating apps and it's wild some of the profiles you find. Where it's just like that's the first thing you put in your line is like, I'm autism spectrum, ADHD, OCD, I need this, this, and this, and trauma. I'm like, you are really selling yourself as a partner, and it seems like you've gone too deep into it to actually like try to find someone.
And it falls back into the level of the same exact shit that people are doing to hide their misdeeds. Oh, I'm
Too much
this, therefore I
acceptance
can't
of
do
like
anything.
just too much acceptance of that and too much complacency to be like, nah, this is not how it's supposed to go, and that's why everything's weird.
Like ADHD relationships can go one of two ways, right? I can be very loud and very accepting of you being loud to me and making my mind work. That's all I need. That's what I need you to do. Not be obnoxious, just over communicate this, over communicate during sex. Dirty talk, make more than one thing work at the same time and you'll get more. Like that's how you make somebody with
Hmm.
ADHD work, or hypersexuality where everything's different always. Okay, so those aren't the same things, you fucking dipshit. You saying you have ADHD doesn't tell anybody anything. Are you just a meth addict? Is that what it is? Do you just consume shit tons of caffeine because you feel like it's a cool thing to do? Or are you just wearing the coat of I have ADHD and I think it's cool to have this, so therefore blah.
Yeah. Well, I also think like you get into a couple of bad relationships and then you just like get into a defeating cycle where it's like must have been because of the ADHD. So if I don't have someone that exactly understands my ADHD, then it's not going to work anyway. So I'm putting it in my profile. It's like, no, you just dated a shitty person for too long.
And you saying you have ADHD, as I just said, doesn't explain anything.
Hmm.
Just like saying, oh, I'm into non-monogamous relationships. Okay, so am I dating you and you're dating three other guys? Or is it you want five girls to maintain my ADHD because everything needs to be different always and you're afraid of commitment? Because that could be an answer too. Which one is it? And that it's not even acceptance anymore. It's straight up wanting to just flagellate yourself in front of everybody because it's like, I'm so broken, I can't be accepted by anybody. It's like, no, I'm not telling you to hide it. I'm not telling
Hmm.
you to not do any of this. I'm telling you to actually showcase who you are as a person
Well, I
because
think
what
that
you're
also makes
doing
it
isn't
harder
okay.
to work with someone when they've like defeated themselves to that point where it's like I'm only this and nothing can change that. It's like That's not how relationship or like just personal growth is supposed to go.
And it's like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Mhm.
Because this as a whole doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and that's why I'm
Why?
like, we don't like each other anymore because that's half the profiles I see, and I'm just like, that's not good. It's bad out there.
No, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable because it's like, okay, and this is where it gets edgy. It's like, okay, so you go on a date with somebody and you go back to your house and they slip off their leggings and a dick flops out. Are you uncomfortable? You were just lied to. And it's okay to be uncomfortable. But society now says that that's wrong
They
to
make a
feel
TikTok, get
any
a million
certain
views, and
way.
you lose your job.
What the fuck? You were dishonest and I get hurt for it? You were dishonest and I get thrown through the weeds because you were dishonest. What the fuck is going on? I don't know, man. I would thoroughly struggle with what is today. It's like, okay, if they say any other letters other than girl, location, age, it's like, guys, don't put letters in your bio. Don't. I got banned off Bumble because I said I'm 6 inches, 6 feet, and I'm working on six figures. They said that that was too edgy. Why is it saying, why is not gendering yourself accurately, bannable? Technically, that's sexual abuse. It's SA. Just saying. So back to the Eminem shit, because I want to get off fucking sex and all of that shit for a little bit of this episode. So you know the song Mockingbird, and
I have not listened to anything Eminem ever, which is why I'm just like, this is not
ever,
the ever.
ever, not at all.
Like I don't think I've ever like sat down and been like, I am going to understand, not even understand. I'm just going to listen to the song knowing it's an
No,
Eminem song instead of hearing like a clip somewhere as a meme.
I'm just saying, like on the radio or whatever. Like you've never heard the
To
song
the point where I
Mockingbird
would
to
have
his
not
kids.
acknowledged. Like I said, I haven't listened to it knowing it's an Eminem song.
See, that's a weird part of life. Like I
I
know we're
never
both
cared
around
if
the same
any
age.
rap thing ever. Regardless,
So
like I
what?
wouldn't go, "Ew, it's Eminem" and turn it off. I just go, I don't care for this. Whoever's doing it.
So what music do you listen to? Do you listen to only screamo? Like I would assume you do. Are you a pop
No,
punk kind
I
of guy?
yeah, pop
Where
punk.
are you? Okay.
And then
That
also, it's not even that. It's more techno, dubstep, and experimental DDR boss songs.
so at 12, 11, 13, in that preteen to teen age
Even
group,
then,
what
I
did
was
you
listening
listen?
to DDR boss songs because I played DDR and Max 300
Oh,
was the
gotcha.
shit.
But you see where that's different and where that's odd, because like a lot
Mhm.
of our age group, Eminem was the top of the charts. You know what I'm saying? So like the songs like Mockingbird that have over 1 billion views on YouTube, you might have come in touch with, and you're like, I don't even know who this is.
Mhm.
So in a couple songs now, he's kind of like laid out his feelings to his kids. Like if he died, whatever his feelings are in that moment. And it's kind of put me to do something towards my kids. 2 or 3 years ago, I bought a couple leather bound notebooks to where I could like write notes and stories of what they did to them. So that way they can kind of look back at it and be like, oh, not necessarily a scrapbook, but they have a
Mhm.
way to kind of see what I was excited about, what I understood what they were
Oh, in
doing,
10
or
years is going to get wild because you just like, there's going to be AI programs where like the AI just prompts you things and then you respond to it and then twist it into you and you leave that for your kid.
that's why I like doing this show and telling the stories at the end, because it's like if they want to go back and listen to like what crazy story happened when dad was 13, they can. It's like at some point they're going
Put
to be
that in the book.
available.
Like, big note, just skip to the last 30 minutes of any episode. The rest is bullshit.
Exactly. Like at some point, they're going to want to go back. They're going to want to hear the story about this or that if something ever happens to me. Or even if, I go fucking senile and I don't remember everything anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many mind altering fucking diseases now that at some point, you're going to be fucked up. But he released another two songs that are similar to Mockingbird, where it's like a note to his kids of like, this happened, this happened, this happened. I'm sorry that all this happened. And it was so in I believe it's 2006 or 2010, he overdosed to the point where it's like he was close to dying and he was able to pull out of it. And he wrote these songs as if he overdosed and died. And he's like, he was speaking to his daughter. He's like, Haley, I wasn't there for your first podcast. I wasn't there for when your kid was born. I wasn't there for your wedding. And I'm just like, fuck. It's surreal when you sit there and look at a day-to-day life and you're like, okay, it's just day-to-day life. I made dinner today. I made the bed today. I made a drink this morning. I took a shower. I was able to kind of be okay. Fuck.
Well, the way I see it is also just how trivial it is to miss so much.
Yeah. Like I think about this logically and I'm like, I attempted when I was 14. I attempt when I'm 14. My daughter, my oldest daughter, doesn't fucking happen. 2 years later. 2 years. Like 2 years of life gets affected by one decision. And that becomes what? Another 80 years of life, technically. One decision affects over 100 years worth of life in one circumstance, let alone I have 3 kids. And it's just like, it's weird to think of life so selfishly in situations that you don't perceive all of it anymore. And that's why I wanted to bring this up in this episode, especially with all the shit that's going on. It's like, it's very, very easy to look at life in a very selfish way. I'm like, oh, well, I did this or I did that, or I wanted to do this or I wanted to do that. And all of those things as a whole matter. Okay. Yeah, they do. They all matter. Your pain and your suffering or having ADHD matters. But all of those things are how you perceive the world, not as a whole, this entire situation where it's like, okay, all of these things fuck up this and fuck up that and destroy this and destroy that. Why? What is all of this? What is this situation? Why is this going to be derogatory in the end? And it's like, if I fully committed in either of those times, how many things did I miss? Did I miss my daughter's first steps? Did I miss my son going to the prom or my daughter's going to prom?
Well, I am offended. You also miss like learning who I am and then having this podcast.
Exactly. Like, what happens if you?
It's not just
something
about
happens
you,
today?
bro.
Well, like I'm thinking about it in like a
Yeah, no, like the family
idealistic
thing
way.
because of the tie-in with Eminem. But yeah, it's like you miss everything,
Yeah.
dude. Everything.
No,
You
exactly.
miss everything. Don't.
It's like, guys, there's more to life than just one situation. There's more to life than just one problem. You could break up with somebody and lose everything. Like dealing and looking at what I dealt with, obviously I'm not going into it, but I lost 15 fucking years. How do you not look at that and be like, oh, I fucking wasted time?
Yeah, when I had my big breakup, what got me through it was like just realizing people lose more everything. You get off lucky if you don't lose the kids, the dog, the house, the car, half your income forever. And even then people lose more than that compared to the person that loses that. So like that was my thing. It's like people get it worse and lose more everything. So there's just a lot of everything out there to still have. Not that I attempted or anything, but it's like I still have. You know, this is how you just get out of any depression to before you even get to that point.
And that shit right there is the reason why I say that you talking shit to somebody shouldn't be a cancelable thing, because you're saying the other side too. You're saying, stand the fuck up, do this, or just shut up.
Don't let it get that bad because it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Life, honestly, I could have lost everything so much harder. I could have not done everything by myself for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I could have, fought every single step of the way, and I could have said, you know what, I give up, and I walked into the woods and absolutely attempted again. And it's just like, how many things do I lose out on? I'm living my dreams, regardless of how hell life is. I swung a 10 out of a situation that I shouldn't have. Life is hell. You don't want huge life changes in your life, but at the same time, it's like, I could have not been there for prom. I could have not been there. I could have not gotten custody of my kids. I could have not done any of the things that I've done. And it's like, guys, you can't tear yourself up to the point where you're not able to see that anymore. You have to be able to see what tomorrow brings. And if you can't see what tomorrow brings, then look farther. It's not just one situation, it's every situation. If you can't fight the little situations of not being there for the first podcast or the first steps or whatever, then you have to see the positives in being there for those things. It fucking sucks, man. It fucking sucks because I've changed so much in my mindset.
Yeah. And it really sucks to see other people just not and letting themselves go deeper and deeper because of complacency. And they get internet points. They get rewarded for it. They get their attention that they desperately need. That doesn't make them any better. It means they just have to get worse to get more attention.
Like I remember when I was so online. Like I was the most online kid in 2009 that you possibly could be. In 2008, I was talking to every single person I possibly could that I was in school with. AIM was always open on my computer or on my phone. It was always on, and I was
I
always
had
talking to
friends like
people.
that. They would come over and then log into like MySpace and AIM and then spend time on the computer. It's like, we're supposed to be hanging out and playing Mario Party.
Not to that point where I was like disconnected from the person that was in front of me, but it was like
But
it
it was
was the
like that
way
in
that
2008, which is weird because it was
I
new.
could connect. It was a way to connect to people, and there'd be a disconnect to where they're not seeing like the raw version of me because I was shown that that wasn't okay.
Mhm.
And that's what's so
Yeah,
real
at
and
no point
surreal
did I
about
ever
this.
go, oh, I can mask. I was just like, no, I'm just talking to the same person as if it was in front of me, ever.
And that's how I treated things. Like I was able to be more vulnerable because there was a disconnect than the person that's right in front of me. So like I was more willing to speak about my open health trauma, my mental health trauma in those situations. I was like, so many people came to me like, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed. I didn't get off the computer with them until they were okay. They were okay enough to like step
Hmm.
aside. And it's hard because like I was that person for so many people, and it's like I just needed one of those people to reflect and ask me. And there wasn't that connection ever. And it's weird because I
Hmm.
don't think people do that now. I think people will just throw, oh, I have ADD in their bio and just be like, okay, that solves all the problems. It doesn't. It doesn't solve anything. And if you don't have a goal that you're working towards and you're just ADHD and going through life, you are an NPC. You are the person that everybody's like, there's not really anything going on there anymore. And it's weird. It's weird to look at people and just be like, there's a disconnect in their brain that they're just not a fully
Oh man, this
functioning
goes
adult.
even deeper because I think we brought it up on the show when we were talking about like no inner monologue and stuff. Where one of the scariest comments I've seen about that is someone talking about how like demons prefer idle minds. So if like
Mhm.
you give up that humanity in yourself and you let the demons in, that's like what the cause, or that's like the symptom of being an NPC. So like
Well,
if you see an NPC, that's someone that
that's where it
let the
gets
demons
hard.
in.
So with ADHD and suicidal ideation, there's a lot of thoughts going around.
Hmm.
Dealing with my ADHD and I calmed those voices. Like there's not an inner monologue to the point where every single thing's pre-thought out. I can kind of make the choice, do the thing, and go through the day and kind of force myself to do it, which is what getting rid of those thought processes did. And that's where I think a lot of people with ADHD or autism struggle with that question of, oh, well, there's an inner monologue. That inner monologue was very, very loud about being negative always. So I
Hmm.
quieted it down to the point where I healed, and now it's not there as badly. So does
Well, it's
that
not
make,
only an inner monologue. I'm just saying, like, any of these negative things, that's seen as, like,
I know, but that's my
wrong. And
point.
that's
Is
why I
like,
like listening to Jordan Peterson. It's so fascinating when he talks about the demons and what you invite in. And it's like, if it was already there, then that means, you had that possession. And it is even a religious sense. It's all like an allegory for just the human condition, where it's like you let something in somehow, somewhere, whether it's a real manifestation of an actual demon because God exists, or just the metaphor of how you are creating this in your psyche because that negativity deep inside being a human won. And like you have to find ways of beating it. And there's many different ways of beating it, and sometimes it goes too crazy and
and that level of being a human and feeling like a human and not feeling disconnected from what is there
mm,
is the weirdest thing that I think a lot of people are struggling with, which is why you're not getting the I'm sorry for bumping into you or trying to step in front of you as you're trying to grab
yeah,
something off the shelf or like we don't look at each other as humans anymore, which is
the
why
demons are
everything's so
powerful right now.
exaggerated.
You got a
And
balancing act. Sometimes good's on the up, and sometimes bad fighting back.
and it's hard. It's hard to fight those demons of like, oh well, you're just not that person. You're not. You don't care. No, it all matters. All of it matters. And it's like if you don't
Hmm.
fight it, if you're not against it, then you're just accepting it, and accepting it is wrong.
Exactly. Every
Eh,
vegetable you eat, that's another, like, your sword's getting an upgrade. Do some push-ups. You got to fight. You actually have to fight the demons. And that
yeah.
takes work, and that takes upgrading, and that takes whatever analogy you need for it.
And all of those are steps. Every single one of them, like getting up
Mhm.
and getting out of bed, as stupid as it sounds, is step one.
Yeah.
And I love,
Do you beat the devil at level 1 at the game? No, he bodies you in the tutorial and slams you somewhere, and then you gotta
yeah,
grind up,
in
and
those
he's still
shitty
there.
fucking YouTube short games where they're like, "Oh, this game looks fantastic." You sit there and you have to fight the
Mhm.
level 5 demon, and then you go and fight. All those games are fake, but still, it's that same exact idea. It's life, and that's why those games are like, "Oh, it's got you," because the numbers make sense to you. You're still level 1. You're still level 2. You're still fighting against the shit that your mom put in your head because they weren't happy with themselves.
Yeah,
Uh,
you didn't get past the first boss yet. And you're
that
giving up?
that's
You're going to turn off the game at the first boss?
that's why
Skish you.
that's why everything as a whole, and this Gary Vee quote makes so much sense. It's not you who dislikes you. You know that, right? It's not you who dislikes you. It's the people that you grew up next to. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your grandma, it's your grandpa, that you heard all of their negative things that they said about themselves or they said about you, even in circumstances. All those thoughts that you have negative about yourself, whether you're fat, whether you're stupid, whether you're dumb, whether you can't even put a thought together, or you're dyslexic, or you have a stutter, whatever the fuck it is, those things were picked on by your parents. Those things were picked on by other people in your early childhood. It's not you hating yourself. And that's the weirdest fucking thing. You want to know where
Hmm.
you start accepting something? Forgiving yourself.
Love yourself.
That's
Easy.
step one.
Well, not easy, but that's kind of a big truth.
You have to care. You have to care about who you are enough of a person in order to step forward and be okay.
And if you really don't like something, change it if you can, because that's what growth is about.
But growth is hell. Growth is moving
And if
through
you
something.
want growth, Blue Chew.
I wish. But that growth, that moving past that brain chemistry of just going through the day is what all of these people are talking about with the Matrix, with NPC culture and all of that shit. They're saying that you don't move past the face forward things in life. It's not an IQ thing. And I had this conversation with my mom the other day. We were, oh, well, they have this IQ or that IQ, and they don't see the world as you do. I'm like, okay, I understand that. But they don't, why do they see just what's in front of them? There's a difference there. There's a disconnect there that I don't have. Like, if you go to work and you go to work at Walmart today, do you think about what you're going to be doing at Walmart tomorrow? Like, I didn't do that when I worked at a big box store. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow. Oh, it's the same fucking thing every day. Doesn't your mind disconnect at some point? Don't you realize that there's a difference and there's a different part of life?
Well, I mean, that is where it gets messy and muddy with IQ, because a lot of low IQ issues are from not being able to have abstraction. So they can't.
Yeah.
They just don't know what that's like because they don't know what. Well, also, and then not every person with low IQ doesn't have an inner monologue, but someone that's never had an inner monologue, they don't. They don't know. They don't know that there's a possibility out there or how to even access that. So that gets different and weird, but there are just hard blocks.
A lot of the people that I've seen with lower IQ will end up talking to themselves or talking themselves
And that's
through
no
things
inner
a
monologue
lot.
because they can't think it themselves. They have to say it to hear it.
But even that's not a negative to me.
Yeah.
Like thinking about it logically, they're talking themselves through the thing. So technically, to me, somebody who's going to talk themselves through something or talk to themselves about something, they're trying to comprehend, and they comprehend through listening, not trying to think about it. So to me, that would be higher IQ than somebody who's just not doing anything about it, like logically. But that's not how IQ works, and that's to me weird. Like, and I fight for IQ a lot. Like I understand where it can be usable in a lot of situations, but that to me is where it disconnects a little bit. Like if somebody's talking themselves through something, they're actually thinking about it. They're
Well, I
actually
mean, you
doing
can
the stuff.
have high IQ and no inner monologue and still do that.
Or low IQ and talk themselves through something, and they're a knuckle dragger. And that to me is where it's weird. It's like there's no direct correlation to the things we do and the intelligence we have.
Well, the thing is, it's always like the bell curve always shifts to where like sometimes you're gonna find the small percent outlier on both sides, or it's like more common towards one side because of the shifting bell curve. So it's like, yes, while it is more common for someone with low IQ to not have an inner monologue because of a failure of abstraction and intelligence, sometimes it goes the other way, but it doesn't have those implications. And that's what I mean. Like, IQ is too messy to talk about
I
with
know.
something like this.
And it gets gross and it gets destructive in some ways. You know what I'm saying? And it's hell because it's like I don't grasp it.
But then
I
it's
don't
also
grasp it
clear
at
when
all.
like you're talking to an idiot that has none of that, anything, and they're not even trying because they can't.
Yeah. But it's like, at what point? Where does that start? And I'm starting to see that people
Room
in your
temp.
comments, no, I don't. This is where the autism and the problems come in. And this is where I struggle to see the situation. Why autism as a whole, the spectrum of autism makes everything gray and gross. And it's like, okay, so you're bad because I perceive you as bad and I'm autistic and you can't question it. And it's like, I just did 4 hours. I just did 2 hours worth of content. And you're saying I'm bad because you're autistic. It's like, guys, that's not how we have a conversation or a discourse. Okay. Oh, your IQ is 110 and you can't put your thoughts at all on paper because you're just like bad. I don't understand. I don't grasp it. I don't firmly grasp it, SpongeBob. I can't find the lid. I don't understand. I don't understand. They're because all of these people that are just like, tee hee, why would I listen to anybody who wears a collar? They can't all be knuckle draggers. They can't be. Not all of them. It's impossible that every person that says tee
Well, yeah,
hee
exactly. You
collar,
know, like not every Biden voter is under 90 IQ. It's impossible.
it's just it's so hard. So, do you want me to tell a story, or are we just gonna wrap it there,
Nah, we
bud?
wrap.
Okay, boys. We'll see you fucking next time. Check out G Fuel. Check out all the merch. Subscribe if you liked it. Give
We
us a
already had
like.
your story technically. Yeah, just wasn't
Ah,
prompted off the list.